At Reverend Al Sharpton's National Action Network Conference in New York this week, a panel on gun violence featured the family members of victims of such violence. Victims like the mother of Hadiya Pendleton, who was gunned down in Chicago just after performing at the inauguration of President Obama. Cleo Cowley told the convention what people can do to stop the killings.
You know, get out there and embrace the youth. You know, you see somebody that's troubled, don't walk away and just shun them. Help them. You know, you'd be amazed what a kind word could do. You know, you'd be amazed just how much you can do based off your own life experiences. You know, we all have people that we know, people that are capable of doing things that we are not capable of doing per se ourselves. You know, if you see a young person out there, send them where they can get what they need. You know, oftentimes these children, you know, don't have what they need at home. If they don't have it at home and they can't get it, you know, by way of someone else, then they're left to only themselves. And we already know what kids don't know.
Right.
You know? And, I mean, you know, so we can't, how do I say? We have to sympathize with the ignorance sometimes. You know, if they say that, you know, I'm just going to go out here and I'm going to take it. I want that. I'm going to take that. I haven't been shown a better way. Then however they go about doing that is to the best of their knowledge. You know, so I mean, right now I'm in a room full of people that know way more than me. I was thrust into this. I embrace it. And I'm going to learn, and I'm going to keep speaking out, and I'm going to do some things and make some changes too. I have to commit myself. But I do ask of you that know more than me to do something with what you have.
The audience also heard from Herbert McFarland, the father of Janae McFarland, who was killed just hours after her sister attended a gun violence speech by President Obama in Chicago.
This is my baby. She was 18 years old. She was in school. And most of all, she was my baby with a baby. I have a 5-month-old grandson. We have a 5-month-old grandson that we're raising. Just like this guy said, in our communities, when our people go down, they're not remembered. When the politicians was up here talking a few minutes ago with Al Sharpton, I was just watching the room because I was in awe. This whole wall was full of photographers and cameras. Once we got up here and we started talking about this, where did they all go? Just like the names for our kids being out there, we gonna be out there. No, I'm here because I grew up in the heart of Inglewood in Chicago. When I was young, I was stupid. I gangbanged. I went to jail. I did everything that I wasn't supposed to do. But we had common sense because we had the big mamas behind us. And we had the nanas behind us. We had the babies down the street behind us that raised us as a community, so we knew right from wrong not to do these things. When I was 2 years old, my dad was shot down in front of me. So I was raised without a father. So I've been there constantly for man. Constantly for man. Yep, me and my baby mama, we not together, but we together right here, and we gonna always click. So I'm gonna always be there for her. I'm gonna always be there for my baby. I'm gonna always be there for my granny. So far, I've got a street sign made where she was died.
Well, that's
it's only been a month and a half, and I'm not through. I need help. I don't know. I'm like you. I'm through into this. We didn't know we was gonna be here to do this, you know. But I'm going to stop just in case it might be your son or your grandson or your daughter. I don't want this to happen ever. That's the worst feeling in the world. To identify your baby with a bullet in her head.
Oh, my God.
What am I trying to do? I'm trying to make a difference. I'm trying to make my life, my daughter's life. See, they said give your kids to your world. They didn't say stop when they're gone. So I'm going to give mine the world as much as I can give her. And if ain't nobody else backing me, you might still see me walking around Chicago, still talking, preaching Janae. Hey, Janae, look, just another neighbor assassinated. Why?
Michael Skolnick, political director to Russell Simmons, told of how just 2,000 phone calls can change legislation in Congress.
If you look at 2009, when the climate bill was in front of the House, and there was a piece in the bill about green jobs in black communities that the Republicans wanted taken out, it only took 2,000 phone calls to get that piece put back in. That's it, 2,000 phone calls. So what I want to leave here is how do we also shift the consciousness of this conversation? Right now we're having a conversation about the gun. That's the national conversation. How do we limit the gun? Who can get the gun? How many bullets can you have with the gun? Where can you buy the gun? Who can buy the gun? How many guns can you have? Right? And that's an important conversation to have. But a deeper conversation to have is the potential shooter. How does an 18-year-old young man allegedly shoot this beautiful woman's daughter in her back? How do we get to that place? How do we look at intervention and prevention programs, as my sister Erica Ford talked about, that we know work, that cost nothing compared to what we spend on law enforcement? How do we start investing in those? How do we look at mental health and not just mental illness? Adam Lanza, who shot up at Sandy Hook Elementary School, was mentally ill. The young folks who are shooting up in our communities are meant to have mental health issues. There is a difference. Let us not connect the two. Let us have a different conversation. So I don't want to look at 4-year Band-Aids on top of bullets. I want to look at 40-year solutions. So in 40 years from now, we're not at the same conference, at the 62nd Annual National Action Network Conference, talking about the same problem. So I think as the issue in Washington, I'll leave with this. I spoke to the Congressional Black Caucus. We know where they're going to vote, so their power is limited. And they know that. They're going to vote yes on an assault weapon ban. They're going to vote yes on background checks. The bills that we care about are not going to be introduced unless we push forth
them.
a conversation
That's right.
about the potential shooter and the potential victim. And that's a 40-year conversation. The president yesterday talked about a $100 million brain initiative. Looking forward to the future, that's an important initiative. Let's talk about a $100 million initiative on the 40-year solution to violence.